You've been in the industry for years, since you were 16.
16, yes.
You've
yes.
had like 16 #1 albums, and you've been in movies, you've written books, you've done so much. You know, as an entertainer, you've had a beautiful career.
Oh.
And you know, people may think, oh, you don't have any problems. Nothing's going on in your life. But you know, you've been through some stuff.
Oh, without a doubt.
And out of that, you've composed this album, Trust, or
Yes.
Confío. Right?
Confío. En español es confío, but in trust is English. Yes, yes.
So what brought you to that place where you had to trust God? What was the difficult moments you've gone through?
Well, I mean, I've gone through quite a few, and they kind of run the gamut in my personal life. But I got married over 10 years ago, and we got pregnant a few months after we got married. So we got married in December, and then our firstborn was born the following year in November. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome and perfect, coolest baby. And then we had the second one, and he was a super not easy baby. He was always crying, but he was just my angels. They're such good boys. Well, how many times in life do we go through things where we have to trust that God is in control? Well, of course, life presents some crazy moments where you feel like you are going to lose it. And what hurts the worst? It hits you with your kid. Mm. At about second grade, they had to officially give the diagnosis of what Zealand, what was going on with him. And I remember sitting in this giant boardroom with the principal, the vice principal, the district school intendant, district people, and special needs this and special this. They said, well, Zealand's autistic. And to see that, like the word was thrown out quite a bit before this moment, but to see the physical, like in black and white, on his paperwork that's gonna live with him forever, autism, it hurt my heart.
And in that moment,
me.
how did it affect your faith? Was it like, okay, God, like what is this?
It affected my faith because I was kind of upset with God, because my husband and I, we've been in ministry our whole lives. My husband, since he was 16, I started traveling in ministry with my parents, evangelizing, when I was 9, the same age as Zealand. Mm. And I said, God, this is super ironic that in ministry you have to communicate. And my son, my firstborn child, has difficulty communicating just something as simple as, how was your day? Without it becoming parroting a movie or a show he's seen or heard. And I had to go through a mourning period, honestly. I went through a mourning period, mourning the dreams that I had for him while he was in my belly. Yeah. And starting to be in dreaming new dreams for him. And that was very difficult. But what I felt and what I knew after that first kind of it was a few months that I had to go through that. Mm-hmm. I felt like God was telling me, listen, God only gives special children to special people. And I felt like he was telling me, look, you know Zealand's super special, which he totally is. Like, probably the coolest kid on the planet, no doubt. Well, God only gives special children to special people, and I trust you, Jackie, with him. Mm. So now you trust me, that I love him more than you ever will. Don't you think I have his back? Mm. And I logically, I know that, but that was very hard, and it's still hard on a daily basis. I'm no saint here. I'm human. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
To totally trust that no matter what, in every situation, God loves him more than me. I know that, but it just feels like I feel out of control.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be in control because God is. And I trust that in every situation, God has a plan for my son. I don't know what his ministry is going to look like. It may not look like yours or mine or anybody's, but it's going to be his own that God has set in place for him. Mm. And I trust that God is faithful. He keeps his promises, and he's going to keep his promise for my son. So this Trust You, the song came out of, the record came out of that kind of, that place, that pain and that fear and that just overwhelming lack of control because I'm drowning in every situation, it feels like. But I know somebody that walks on water and he'll pick me up.
Yeah, and even that story, that really touched me. On your album, your song, God Who Moves the Mountain.
Yeah.
How you talked about your youngest and how he was having a bad dream, and you just went in there and sang that song, and the worship
Oh man,
helped
there
you
were
through.
tears coming down his face. Oh, he's so cute. He's got these big old lips and tears. You could feel the presence of God in the room. That's why I even wanted to make this record. It was like, that was a lot of the reasons, but that was one of the pivotal moments for me, was because of how worship touched his soul and his heart in such a giant way. And since that night, he's not woken up with a bad dream.
Wow.
Because he trusts in God.
I know we're almost out of time, but for those who want to pick up the album Trust, and who've heard your story, and you're saying you can still trust God, even when you're going through the worst of the worst, even when
Yes.
you go through unexpected things. So what do you want people to know after they hear this album?
I want them to walk away with this overwhelming ability to walk in life with an attitude of worship, even when it feels like the ground has been taken out from underneath them, when it feels like they're gonna drown, when it feels like everything is falling apart. To walk with an attitude of worship and trust that God always has your back.